Hi, I'm Brian Duvall with Smart Business Development, and today we're in downtown Roanoke at Center in the Square, where we'll be visiting with John Carlin, owner of Carlin Aquariums. So come on in, let's see what he has to say. Good morning, John. Thanks for being on the show with us today. I want to find out, everybody in this market knows you as a newscaster. How did you get started in an aquarium business?
I've had a lifelong love for aquariums ever since I was probably 7 years old, rolling rocks over in the creek. So I've been a hobbyist my whole life. Eventually, my son, Ben, my middle son, we started an aquarium in his bedroom when he was 12 or 13, and he decided that he liked it very well also. So Ben eventually got a job at a local pet store and wanted to learn more and more about it. So we started setting up aquariums in the house, drove my wife nuts, and got it really into the saltwater side of the hobby. And then we became the best customers at a local reef store in Daleville called Ultimate Aquariums. The owner at the time had to move. His wife was transferred to another city, and the store became available for purchase, so we bought the business. And about half of the business was retail, and half of the business was going out and taking care of aquariums that people had set up, either in businesses or whatever, and they didn't want to maintain them, so we would go and maintain them. Eventually, I decided I wasn't really a retail guy. Ben had been actually managing the store while he was majoring in business in college, and we sold the retail side of the business and kept the maintenance side. In the meantime, we'd made a lot of national contacts, and so we met the people that we actually brought in, and I consulted on the project here at Center in the Square, and so now we've got a nice cornerstone account, and we've got many accounts out in the community, and it's a growing but fledgling business.
Very good. Well, congratulations. That's a pretty amazing story. I'm curious as to what we're looking at in the background here. We've got this massive tank. Describe what your involvement was beyond the consulting and what it takes to kind of take care of this amazing structure we have behind us.
Yeah, this is one of the largest living reef aquariums on the East Coast. It's an 8,000-gallon system, completely living reef. Everything in the tank is alive. It was designed by Reef Aquaria Design out of Florida. It was one of the contacts that I had and helped bring them to the table. They're one of the few people in the country that can do a project on this scale. And so I was involved right from the get-go in making introductions to the folks who were working on the project here at Center in the Square. Consulted for a couple of years because that's how long it took, if you remember when Center was all torn apart. And part of the redesign when they put it back together was to get this aquarium in here before they closed the roof up and everything. We actually craned this thing in here. And then if you look below the area where we are now, there's an amazing filtration system that it takes to make this thing operate. And it's so for us, for Carlin Aquariums, it's 7 days a week, constant testing of the water parameters, and salt water is not easy to maintain in a captive setting when you have corals and fish and so forth. There's all kinds of trace elements, and you have to manage the phosphates and the nitrates and all kinds of other things. I won't bore people with that, but basically it's 7 days a week, and my team is here, 2 guys, at least 5 hours every day, Monday through Friday.
Wow, I had no idea it took that much. All right, it sounds like there's a lot involved here, and you described some of the changes your business has gone through over the years. Mm-hmm. For the folks who are watching, what were some of the early challenges you faced when starting your business, and then how did you overcome that challenge?
Well, again, my wife Mary is a CPA, which is extremely helpful, and I've got more of a marketing, public relations background. Ben is the business major, and Ben and I are both fish guys. Ben runs the company on a day-to-day basis. The challenge for us has been getting out into the community, letting people know that there is this service available in Roanoke. This has really never existed here before. Oh, someone will come into your office and they'll put up a beautiful aquarium and then come and maintain it, and all you have to do is enjoy it or have your customers enjoy it, or the same thing for your home, or there's somebody that can work with your architect and build it into your home. And that is our ongoing challenge, quite honestly, is making the cash flow work, learning how to market progressively. We don't want to actually get more business than we can handle. We want to grow at a moderate pace. And one of the things is having Ben, who's a young guy right out of college, learn his way around, learn to, he's been in boardrooms with very top people in Roanoke, and he's done a great job. I'm very proud of him. But that has been a growth process. So, and things like the chamber have helped, the networking that's available through the chamber. and things like after hours and those types of things. That's really a great place for a company like us that wants to have business accounts. That's a great place for us to be.
Okay, very good. And thanks for putting a plug in for the local chamber. One of the questions I know a lot of folks are probably going through right now is they're looking for tips and advice from folks who have been there, done that. So do you have one favorite tip or something that you wish you had known that you know now, but you wished you'd known it when you first started out?
Well, I've always done the videos for the Junior Achievement Business Hall of Fame, and I've had the opportunity to look back at all the great Roanokeers, the very successful business people, and more than one of them has said cash is king. Just remember cash is king, and remember that don't take the money out of the business, put it back into the business. And that wasn't necessarily a mistake that I made in terms of not putting it back in the business. We've been pretty good about that, but managing cash flow is difficult. You've got to look at having cash on hand in order to take care of the marketing and so forth and so on. But if we get an order for a big aquarium, we've either got to have a relationship with a bank or we've got to have the cash in the bank so we can get all the equipment in here, keep the money flowing in while it's going out. We still got to keep the lights on, make payroll, that type of thing. So reinvesting in the company and making sure you have cash reserves, very important.
Great advice. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Tell us a little bit about Mountain Corals, because that's another project that you're working on here at Center in the Square.
Mountain Corals is a really interesting project, the only one we know of its kind in the entire country. Basically what we're doing is using this huge volume of water over here, which is very stable salt water because there's 8,000 gallons there, to grow corals. We have corals in the system which we then sell to the public because there are hobbyists all over the country that are looking for excellent corals to put in their aquariums. 100% of the money that's returned from that goes back to Center in the Square, because it is expensive to maintain these aquariums. We could go on and on about just how much salt we need, because when we change the water here, we change 1,000 gallons at a time, and that all comes from bags of salt. So it is an expensive process, and we agreed to, as part of our contract, to help Center raise money to offset the cost of maintaining the aquariums. So mountaincorals.org is an opportunity for people all around the country to go to a website, look at photographs of the actual coral they want to buy, purchase it, we send it to them, and then we return 100% of the money to Center in the Square.
Okay. It's interesting that you say that all of that goes back to support Center in the Square. To me, that's a really profound corporate responsibility and giving back to the community that helps your business. Was that intentional, or how did that evolve? How did that come about?
Well, it's an interesting story. I don't think that Center realized when they decided they wanted to have aquariums in the atrium that are free to the public. And as far as we know, this is the largest display of aquariums in the United States that is free. All right. I mean, we're a long way from being one of the world's, the country's major aquariums that you can go to Ripley's or the Georgia Aquarium. We're not that. But be that as it may, this is free to the public. I don't think Center realized exactly how much that would cost. And ever since the very beginning, I've been interested in using this as an educational platform. This is an opportunity for people in Roanoke to learn about the oceans, to learn about our endangered log perch in the Roanoke River Aquarium, or the turtles of Virginia, or the seahorses, or the jellyfish. So I personally am invested in this project succeeding, and as has been. So we agreed very early on to do whatever we had to do to help Center raise the money to pay for this process. And we're probably committing somewhere on the hour, on the order of 25 man-hours a week that we're just donating back to that project, just mountaincorals.org, to help make this thing fly.
Okay. I want to say thank you again for being on the show, and we look forward to seeing how this progresses as we go.
All right. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. And everybody come on down and see the aquariums.
If you know other entrepreneurs and business leaders in the community who have a great story to tell and would like for us to have them on the show, then contact me, Brian at smartbusinessdevelopment.com, or post your comments and questions in the form below. We'll look forward to seeing you next time.